Selama 47 tahun telah memeluk agama Islam, revert to Islam, not converted. Betul? Is that right?
Yes.
Why is it revert to Islam? So how do you feel about Indonesia?
Not having this Islam is our religion, but Islam is our way of life. You start your day so early in the morning.
Oh
you know.
my God. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat datang kembali di podcast Edunist Cendekia Muda. Apa kabar semuanya? Semoga semuanya berada dalam keadaan yang bahagia agar kita sama-sama bisa menyimak acara di podcast spesial Edunist Cendekia Muda hari ini. Alhamdulillah, Masya Allah, kita kedatangan seorang tamu yang sangat istimewa dari negeri Paman Sam, dari United States of America, our sister Filah, Zakiyyah Shakoor. Welcome Zakiyyah, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Alhamdulillah. Jadi sister Zakiyyah ini adalah seorang, saya menyebutnya aktivis ya, aktivis di dalam memperjuangkan agama Islam di Amerika, terutama di negara bagian Alabama dan di Georgia, Atlanta. Zakiyyah Shakoor lahir dan besar di Amerika. Selama 47 tahun telah memeluk agama Islam. Selalu beliau itu menyebutnya sebagai,
because I believe that all human beings were born in the state of Islam, you know, when Allah breathed into them their life, and because of our experiences, our parents, our upbringing, you know, we may become Christian, Muslim, or whatever. So I was brought up and raised as a Christian by my parents because that was the religion of my parents. So I'm reverting back to the natural state of Islam that Allah has given me from birth.
Masya Allah, Masya Allah. Jadi Sister Zakiyyah ini selalu menyebut dirinya itu revert, kembali ke Islam. Bukan pindah ke agama Islam, tapi kembali ke agama Islam. Karena pada dasarnya semua manusia itu dilahirkan secara fitrahnya adalah Islam. Maka beliau menyebut dirinya hanya kembali ke Islam. Dan itu dilakukan 47 tahun yang lalu. Baik, growing up, she had many questions about God and her faith practice. So, then she began her journey to Islam. Sahabat Edunist, bersama kita pada hari ini, kita akan bertanya beberapa hal kepada Sister Zakiyyah tentang bagaimana aktivitas beliau di dalam Islam di negaranya di United States. Untuk itu kita langsung aja ya tanya Sister Zakiyyah, tell us a little bit about your activities in the US regarding to your Islam.
Okay, over the course of, I guess, almost 50 years, I've been involved in a variety of community service projects, mainly dealing with hardship cases, with dealing with poverty, homelessness, domestic violence, just trying to reach out to the community to aid. I currently work with a agency known as North Family Services. In North Family Services, we deal with domestic violence issues. Muslims, 99% of our cases are Muslim women who have experienced domestic violence, foreign-born immigrants that have come to the U.S. with their spouse and find themselves in a situation of domestic violence. And so we try to intervene and help them with, a safe space, a safe place to live. We let them know what kind of services are available to them. We try to give them a hand up so that they become, independent and can get out of the abusive situation for themselves and their children. So we provide things like housing assistance, food, clothing. We try to teach them basic skills of employment. Many of them come to the country. They are not aware of, many of their countries, domestic violence is not even a crime. So they come with those same ideas that they can't go to anyone, to the police. Their spouse isolates them. So we just educate them to let them know that even in some cases they can get a visa that will allow them to stay in the country because domestic violence is a crime in the U.S.
Well,
And
where was it? Is it in Atlanta or in Huntsville?
I work currently in Atlanta, but I started out in Huntsville working with, actually it was a Hindu organization called Shakoor. And we work with them at the Huntsville Islamic Center because the director there, Bhavani Kakani, she was starting to experience a lot of Muslim women coming to her agency that was experiencing domestic violence, and she really didn't know how to address the needs of Muslim women. Okay. So she got us to come in and, just intervene and help them navigate through the system.
Masya Allah. Jadi Sister Zakiyyah ini terakhir ini membuat atau bekerja bersama agensi yang menangani persoalan-persoalan abusement kepada istri atau kepada wanita-wanita, dan banyaknya terjadi kepada wanita Islam di Atlanta. Okay, Sister Zakiyyah, can you tell us more about the activities that you had in Huntsville when you lived there, that you get involved with?
Okay, one of the significant things that I work with in Huntsville was I worked on a crisis line. And so the crisis line is an emergency number that any individual can call if they're experiencing any kind of crisis. Sometimes we would have people call because they have been abused, domestic violence. Other times maybe they're contemplating suicide. And so we're trained to answer and respond to all these different cases. Sometimes it's a matter of, someone has been sexually abused, raped. They don't know what to do, where to go. So we give them resources. Sometimes individuals, are about to be evicted from their home. They don't have money and resources or food. And so they just call the crisis line and tell us what crisis they're experiencing. And we guide them through different resources.
Masya Allah. Yang aktivitas lainnya dari Sister Zakiyyah ini adalah pernah berada di dalam satu hotline namanya crisis hotline, is that right?
Yes.
Ya, crisis hotline di mana beliau di situ menangani bermacam-macam krisis yang terjadi pada siapa saja di waktu itu di Huntsville. It was in Huntsville.
Yes.
Ketika itu di Huntsville, dan beliau menerima telepon dari berbagai macam orang yang sedang mengalami krisis ingin bunuh diri, ada abuse dari keluarganya atau dari siapa saja, dan saat itu beliau menjadi seorang yang memberi petunjuk-petunjuk bagaimana caranya agar krisis ini berlalu dari diri orang-orang yang menelpon tersebut. Okay, Sister Zakiyyah, after all, you've been in Indonesia for like few weeks, right?
Yes.
So how do you feel about Indonesia?
Oh, it's very warm and welcoming. I
Masya.
really enjoyed myself. It's been an amazing journey. I've learned a lot about the culture, the climate, and also about myself. It's given me some reflection time to really think about some ideas I'd like to implement when I go back to the U.S. And
really, you have something to implement from Indonesia to U.S.?
Yes.
What is it?
Inshallah. Well, just more focus on the deen, more focus on Islamic studies. I work with a school, Islamic school, because my granddaughter attends Al-Falah Academy in Atlanta. And so it's been a really good experience, looking at your school, seeing some of the things that you do. One of the things that sticks out really is how you also make sure, emphasize that the teachers and the staff and everyone is educated along with the students. And so I think that's really an amazing concept.
That's amazing concept. So, sahabat Edunist Cendekia Muda, Sister Zakiyyah ini ketika baru datang beberapa minggu yang lalu sempat ngobrol banyak dengan kita, sharing banyak dengan kita dari Cendekia Muda. Kita menyampaikan segala hal. Antara lain yang kita sampaikan adalah bagaimana penanganan guru di sekolah-sekolah di Cendekia Muda. Bahwa di Sekolah Cendekia Muda, guru-guru pun dipantau, guru-guru harus melaporkan segala ibadahnya dan dipantau segala aktivitasnya di dalam ataupun di luar sekolah. Dan diadakan pembinaan-pembinaan kepada guru-guru di Cendekia Muda. Ini yang beliau pikir adalah sesuatu yang sangat istimewa yang katanya mungkin mau diimplementasikan di sekolah dari cucunya di Atlanta City dan juga mungkin di tempat yang dimana beliau itu adalah founder sebuah sekolah Islam di Huntsville, Alabama. Jadi mungkin nanti akan kembali lagi dan menyampaikan beberapa hal yang ditangkap di selama berada di Indonesia. So, what is the most shocking thing you faced in Indonesia? The most shocking things, like.
Well, you know, there's a few things, not shocking. I wouldn't say shocking, but like just, you know, an adjustment. The culture, you know, like the activities, like you start your day so early in the morning.
Oh,
you know.
My God. So what time you start your day then?
Like, we don't start our day at 3:00 in the morning. So, so, I mean, I see that, you know, the traffic is busy. People are up and going, you know, after Fajr, they're out and about. Usually things don't start till maybe 8:00, you know. I mean, you get up for a prayer and things like that, but I see people out. I hear children out playing at 6:30 in the morning. So that's a little unusual. Just, you know, just the whole shift of, you know, how you function. One of the things that I'm really impressed about is just that Islam is not just, it doesn't seem like it's just a religion. It's like a way of life. And so everything is this, everything you do is Islam. You can see it in every activity, and you're shopping and you're, you know, navigating throughout the day. You know, the prayer time comes in.
Wherever you go, there will be a musalla, there will be masjid around it. And it's
that I really, really
nice,
love
masjid
that.
And musalla,
and it's
right?
just like naturally you perform your ibadah naturally without like a systematic way of doing it.
Alhamdulillah. So what is it that you're going to tell the people there when you come back there?
Well, just I'm going to share stories. You know, I have friends and, you know, they're eager to hear, you know, my story, my adventure, what it's like to be in Indonesia, which is the largest population of Muslims in the world.
Right.
So many Muslims in the U.S. strive to come here. What is it like? What is the daily activity like? What is, you know, how do they function? And how is it that they are the largest population of Muslims?
Maybe after you're visiting here, there will be more sisters or more Muslims from Atlanta, maybe.
Inshallah,
or from
they're waiting.
Hansu,
Yes.
that they're coming here. We welcome you. Tell them that we welcome them.
Inshallah.
So if they come, then inshallah, everybody will be very happy to have them as sisters or brothers. Okay, then about the Islamic school, about the Islamic education, what do you think? Is it important to send your kids to the Islamic education or Islamic school?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And there's been a growing force of Islamic schools, opening of Islamic schools in the U.S. because parents are recognizing, you know, the pitfalls of sending their children to public schools. Mm-hmm. And we're experiencing an identity crisis. The children are experiencing an identity crisis because they're trying to fit in. They don't know which way to go. They're being brought up as Muslim, but then they're in these non-Muslim schools. Yeah. And so they have all this peer pressure of dating and all the things that go along with the Muslim schools. The
it must be
schools.
Very hard too.
It's very difficult. So the parents really don't know how to deal with it. So many of them, when they have children are young, they're recognizing we need to have more Islamic institutions so we can, you know, combat some of these issues.
Okay. And you've been spending your sometime seeing Cendekia Muda as an Islamic school. What do you think about the school?
Oh, I think it's an amazing school. I love the structure. I love to see the children interacting, learning how to recite Quran, and just the discipline and the overall, you know, system. It seems to be very strong and well put together, the program, the emphasis on Islamic education as well as other secular subjects. But I really see a strong emphasis on the Islamic laying the Islamic foundation for character building as Muslims as they become an adult.
So, is there a more interesting thing that you find here in Cendekia Muda?
Well, I think just, again, not having this Islam is our religion, but Islam is our way of life. And so you're teaching the children, that this is not something that you just do on Friday, Jummah. Right. Many of the cultures in the U.S., you have in the Christian church, they go to church on Sunday and they commit sit the whole rest of the week. Yeah. Or, have other things that it's just focused on that one day. Mm-hmm. So we have to be careful in Islam to make sure that we're implementing it in our daily life. Even as Muslims, we have those pitfalls that we come to Jummah and then the rest of the week we're maybe not praying or not being kind to our neighbors. Mm-hmm. And so implementing Islam totally in your life is so important. And so I see that here. And that's one of the most impressive things that I can.
So how do you think you can promote this to the schools there, that schools or Muslims there to implement Islam more as a way of life and not just a religion?
Yeah. Well, first learning it with children always is by example. You set a good example. And there are many, it's a very, very strong schools there that try to, implement these ideas and practices. And so they try to create activities that are outside of the school day because, if you want it to become a way of life, it has to be not just Monday through Friday we go to school and this is the way we behave, this is the way we talk, and this is how we interact with each other. So we try to do things that are outside of the daily school system times and have them interacting with each other and inviting their friends, and even their neighbors, maybe. The parents come, and even neighbors, non-Muslim neighbors, so that they can see how we interact, how we do things. And so many times on our events, there are, children, neighborhood children that come that are not Muslims, and they get an opportunity to see how we as Muslims live our life.
I wish you success to implement that, inshallah. And may Allah help you to do it, inshallah. Okay, Sister Zakiyyah, what would you think if we maybe in the future set like collaborative work with schools, Islamic schools there and Islamic schools here? Would that be possible, do you think?
Okay, so, a collaborative effort between both countries and schools, I think it could, start off on a small scale, maybe one or two schools in the U.S., working with your school here, picking a topic, instead of just bouncing around on several topics, just focus on one topic. It could be curriculum. Okay. It could be extracurricular activities.
Yes, right.
It could be
parent
involvement,
like learning after COVID.
Right. How you're coping. Right. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Coping, how are the schools coping? What mechanisms do they use to deal with COVID situations? Because in the U.S., it's rising again. Yes. And so there's a relaxed idea that COVID is over. Mm-hmm. And so people aren't necessarily taking precautions anymore. Mm-hmm. And so we're finding in the schools, we're getting, some cases of COVID in the schools. So how you are dealing with it, because it seems like your rates are very low here. Yes. And what we can do to make those kinds of issues, more advanced in our schools.
Yes, we can pick one topic.
Right.
Inshallah.
Things among the youth, the older high school students, for example, talking about academic aspirations.
Yes, I think that's a good idea too. Like involving students with like high school students,
right?
That they can talk to high school students too there in
peer to peer, things that they're experiencing as youth in Indonesia, versus what the kids are experiencing in the U.S. And we're finding, I'm sure, some of the similar things.
Yeah,
because worldwide Muslims are being affected by culture and all kinds of things. So they're experiencing maybe on a different level, but they're still experiencing them. So how we can cope with those kinds of issues.
And also for the future too, maybe there is a possibility for having like student exchange or teacher exchange between schools.
Yes.
Right.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think, it's a great experience for, children to go abroad and to see, because it kind of helps us, balance our lives when we see how another culture functions, because often we get this idea that, it's just this one culture and our culture is the best or right or whatever. And so when you experience something else, you take the good from everything. And so, people coming here, they'll see how you function, and students going there or teachers going there see how everyday life is like.
Right. That means then after you back to US, inshallah, we're calling you again on set the things maybe for schools to have collaborative work together, inshallah.
Yes, inshallah.
Yeah, maybe for the students or teachers or whoever from the schools, right?
Right,
so,
absolutely. It's a great idea.
So
I had actually spoken with a few sisters before I came. You had mentioned something about, a teacher internship or something like that. So there's a few that may be interested in something like that. We can talk more
inshallah,
about it.
we'll be ready. If teachers or students come here, all they can do is just have tickets, and inshallah, everything inshallah will be, I think will be welcome and provide here.
Okay,
inshallah. Then, Sister Zakiyyah, I'd like to say thank you so much for your coming here. It's really my dream to meet you, inshallah, in my life before I return to Allah, inshallah. So it's been like a great, friendship between us.
Yes.
It's because we are in the friendship of Allah's way. For the sake of Allah. So, mashallah, Allah make us meet. Let us meet again. Alhamdulillah. And thank you so much. Send my regards to everybody there in Huntsville and in Atlanta. Maybe inshallah in the future I will be probably the first person to come for exchange. Hopefully like that. Yes. Inshallah.
And I want to thank you as well for inviting me into your home and into your environment and your community. It's been an amazing journey, and as I prepare to depart in a few days, inshallah, continuing my journey onto Jordan, I'm taking with me many good experiences. You treated me very well, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you with Jannah for those. And bring us back together and continue with collaborative work, inshallah.
Inshallah, your coming will be something like for the future, for the sake of the students, the sake of Islam, inshallah. So it's not going to be like just coming and visiting, right?
Yes.
Inshallah. We're going to work together on this, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Thank you, Zakiyyah, so much.
Oh, thank you.
Sahabat Cendekia Muda, alhamdulillah kedatangan seorang Zakiyyah Shakoor ke Indonesia saat ini atau sejak beberapa minggu yang lalu itu sungguh sangat membuat kami itu bersyukur bahwa ada yang datang bersama kami melihat apa yang sedang dilakukan di Cendekia Muda, dan sungguh pengakuan beliau akan pengalaman yang didapatkan di sini itu membuat kami bersyukur sekali bahwa insya Allah segala yang kita sedang lakukan ini adalah kebaikan dan dia bermuara kepada dakwah. Sahabat Edunist Cendekia Muda, sampai di sini dulu pertemuan kita. Semoga Allah merahmati kita semua, memberi kemenangan untuk kita semua, dan insya Allah di masa depan kita akan memperoleh anak-anak yang lebih beriman, lebih tinggi keimanannya, anak-anak yang lebih hebat dalam seluruh aspek kehidupannya. Terima kasih, sampai jumpa di Edunist Cendekia Muda berikutnya. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.